Look, I'm still reeling after last night's loss to the San Francisco 49ers. There was no reason that it should have happened. Frankly, you saw some good things with Seattle's offense, but you also saw some really bad things with Seattle's offense. And not to do a Mike Francesa, there's some good, there's some bad. We're going to focus on the good and the bad in this game. I felt offensively there were a couple key players that played well. There are a couple key players that need to step up and figure it out. Defensively, for the most part, I was actually very impressed. I think you're going to have a great defense again. And if it wasn't for maybe one player, you're probably singing a different tune about this game. You might even be singing a different tune about a coach. Because right now, I'm pretty dang fired up. And we're almost, 12 hours away from this game? We got to figure it out. I still have a lot of high hopes for the Seahawks team. I still think this is a Seahawks team that can win double-digit games. I still think you're a playoff team. But frankly, I'm a little bit worried after the showing that you put out today. But over here at Seahawks Today, we always start out with the winners. We always eat those W's just like Jameis Winston, and we're starting off with Zack Charbonnet. Dude, you've claimed your spot as RB1 in my eyes. It felt like when Zack Charbonnet was back there running the rock for the Seahawks, you actually saw ball movement. You saw a running back gain yards every single time the ball was handed to him. I understand that some of it isn't always fair. Some of it is, hey, the 49ers had a bad call when Charbonnet was out there. Maybe they had a good call when Kenneth Walker was out there. I'll tell you right now, the amount of times that the bad calls kept happening, it would be too much of a coincidence. In my eyes, when you have a running back that's right at that 4 yards per average mark, he's the guy who got into the end zone. By the way, Nostradamus here, I predicted it. So you should follow me and accept me when I have my predictions like that. Zack Charbonnet, to me, looked like your number one back. I was going into the season saying, hey, it should be even carries. I don't think I'm singing that tune anymore. You have a feature back. And it's the kid out of UCLA. It's Zack Charbonnet. I was impressed with how he ran the ball. My number 2 winner, jumping over to the defensive side of the ball, Big Cat, Leonard Williams. Every time you had a tackle at the line of scrimmage or in the backfield, it felt like Leonard Williams was a part of that tackle. Every time it felt like Brock Purdy was running away and getting pressure from the interior, it was because of Leonard Williams. Leonard Williams played with his hair on fire. Now, there are some other guys that I don't know that we're going to be able to mention. Maybe I'll mention them as an honorable mention kind of at the very end when it comes to that interior D-line. But I felt like Leonard Williams was the spearhead of that. He was the point of the spear for you, and he was flying around making plays, getting in the backfield. In my eyes, when it comes to the defensive side of the ball, there were 3 guys that had a great game. He's probably the third guy, and the only reason he's the third guy is because the other 2 played at an incredible level. Julian Love. That's the number 1 defensive player in this game. Frankly, he might be the number 1 player in this game. Julian Love led your team in tackles, had double digits. He was flying around, had multiple tackles for a loss in the backfield. When you needed big stops from your defense, it felt like Julian Love was a part of those, him or Kobe Bryant, every single time. And if it was Kobe Bryant, it was because Julian Love took on the blocker to let him go free. And he blocked a freaking kick for you. When you needed a stop, when you needed a big-time play defensively, Julian Love came in the clutch every single time. He was flying around. I know myself personally, I was like, we should try and get him to that free safety spot so Nicky Manwari can be the strong. At this point, I don't believe that. In my eyes, it has to be Julian Love flying around, making the plays at that strong safety spot. You can find a different spot for Nicky Manwari because he's playing at such a high level right now. He is your defensive MVP. When you have a stat line that can overshadow Leonard Williams' stat line today, you played maybe your best game as a pro. I loved everything Julian Love was doing. Frankly, he looked like a slightly worse version of Kyle Hamilton, which is what you need in this defense. My 4th winner when it comes to this game, Jaxon Smith-Njigba. Aside from the fumble, which we do have to mention, he was perfect. You had, 15, 16 completed passes in this game? He had over half of them. He had over 100 yards. Whenever there was a completed ball, it was like, oh yeah, there's Jaxon Smith-Njigba. Oh yeah, there's Jaxon Smith-Njigba. He was catching short routes. He was catching deep routes. He had a 50-50 ball that he was that close, and I mean that close to coming down with. He made good blocks in the running game. I felt like when you needed someone to get the edge, he wasn't afraid to shove his face in there. Make a play. Make a good stop. Frankly, going through this game, going through this film, Jaxon Smith-Njigba is your only skill player on the outside. So in my eyes, that's wide receiver, tight end, not counting Zack Charbonnet, that felt like they played up to the level that they could be. I said he was a top 10 wide receiver in this league. He did nothing to dispel that. You got to hold on to the football better. It killed a drive, and honestly, that was going to be points. It could be the difference between winning and losing that game. Obviously, it wasn't, but if you take away that fumble, the kid played a perfect game. He was absolutely lights out. My last defensive player that I'm going to put on this winning list, Josh Jobe. He's also the last winner that I have for this game. Now, I'm going to get into another honorable mention because Ernest Jones had an incredible game. I will talk a little bit about him, but I want to talk about how well Jobe played himself. Now, the tackles aren't going to jump off the page to you, but guess what? I don't want a cornerback that has 10 tackles. I want a cornerback that has 2 or 3 because that means balls were getting knocked down when they were thrown his way, or balls weren't being thrown his way at all. I want a cornerback that's locked down in coverage. I don't care how you tackle. Shouts out Deion Sanders. No one pays Josh Jobe to tackle. They pay him to get turnovers. And guess what he did in this game? He made an incredible interception on a ball that Brock Purdy was trying to layer to Riqui Pearsall. And here's the thing. I didn't think it was a bad ball. I didn't think it was a bad decision by Brock Purdy. It was a better play, a better decision by Josh Jobe. I told you that if Seattle was going to win this game, they had to win the turnover battle. Josh Jobe put them in a position to do that. He took a risk. And he made the play, and I absolutely freaking loved it. This is an honorable mention for Ernest Jones. He has to be mentioned, though. The guy was flying around making plays. Multiple pass breaks up. He's your second or third guy in tackles. He had an interception on a great play by him as well. He didn't get to make the top 5 of your winners and losers, but when you have a middle linebacker that's flying around making the plays that he was in this game, you got to feel pretty damn good about the team. Let me know who your biggest week 1 winner was. Was it Charbonnet, who's, in my eyes, become the feature back? Was it the offensive line? Probably not. There's some things that they need to fix there. Maybe, in your eyes, it was Ernest Jones. Maybe it was Byron Murphy, had another great game as well. DeMarcus Lawrence, flying around, multiple tackles for loss. Maybe it's one of those guys. Shout him out in the comments. Let me know who you think was the biggest winner of the weekend. I hate doing this. We have to get to the losers of the weekend. Honestly, I didn't want to go to this spot. You have to bench Riq Woolen. You have to bench Riq Woolen. I understand, man. Cool. 4 catches or 4 tackles. Awesome. He had that great block. Pass breakup in the goal line. Forced a Jake Moody field goal. I think he ended up hitting that one. No, actually, I don't believe that he did. I can't remember. He missed so many. It's hard to remember how well Jake Moody did. But Riq Woolen, when it mattered most, when it was most important, he didn't show up. He let Riqui Pearsall run by him because he didn't stick his head down and run and keep up with the wide receiver. It's the number one thing you're freaking taught. It's taught in like 5th grade Little League baseball. He didn't do it. And then instead of going and making a play, attacking the football just like this, what are you told to do in football? Go to the ball. You don't float away from it. You go to it. He doesn't do that in the end zone. I see what he's trying to do. Hey, if I intercept the ball, the game's over. If I knock it down, they have a shot to kick a field goal. Jake Moody was 1 for 3 at that point in the game. I'm pretty comfortable with Jake Moody going up to kick a field goal at that spot. Worst case scenario, the game is tied. Instead, he floats back. The ball gets intercepted. And now everyone in Seattle is pissed off because we didn't win the game. Instead of being able to be excited about the Seahawks pulling out a win in Lumen, you didn't do it. And it was a game that you needed to win, frankly, and should have won. George Kittle leaves halfway through. Brandon Ayuk wasn't there. Didn't get the job done. When we needed you most, like the Avatar, you vanished, Riq Woolen. In my eyes, he should have to be benched. That's kind of why Josh Jobe got to be a winner as well. In my eyes, I would have thought if anyone was getting benched, it was Josh Jobe. Josh Jobe played like a starting corner. Riq Woolen, when it mattered most, didn't. My next loser, Kenneth Walker. I'm not going to sit up here and say double benching, but I will say that Kenneth Walker looked like butt today. He averaged 2 yards a carry. Frankly, he's lucky that he averaged 2. He had a long of 8, so that saved him. Pass catching, out of the backfield, that number is going to go even lower. I already mentioned it was Zack Charbonnet. It would be nice if I could sit here and be like, whoa, the 49ers just had the perfect call every single time Kenneth Walker was out there. Do you really believe that? No, you don't, because you're smarter than that. I'm smarter than that. Producer Colin's smarter than that. We know what this Seahawks team is, and frankly, Kenneth Walker has taken 2 gigantic steps back. Right now, he shouldn't be the feature back. He shouldn't be splitting time. He should be the backup. And if you want to come to me and say, well, Will, he's hurt, he has a bad foot, then don't play. Then don't play. You didn't help the team. That offense had multiple series where they sputtered. How many times in your head right now can you think of where they sputtered, where their number one running back on that drive, because they basically split time, was Kenneth Walker? I can't remember a time when that team went on a drive where Kenneth Walker was getting the majority of the touches. It was when Charbonnet was there. When Charbonnet was in, they ran the ball well. When Charbonnet was out, they did not. My number 3 loser, this one kind of feels rough. It's not entirely his fault, and honestly, I'm cherry-picking one play. It's Abe Lucas. And the reason for that is, Abe Lucas, you just got paid, man. And I understand. He's had some injury issues. There was some fear there. I still think it's a good contract signing. In my eyes, when you can get a tackle that you think is going to be a stalwart for your team, a local kid, grew up rooting for the Seahawks, wanted to play for Seattle, went to Washington State, you can sign him to honestly, a team-friendly deal, a deal that's going to put him as the 12th highest paid right tackle in the NFL. I feel pretty damn good about that. But when you are in a key moment and Nick Bosa blows your ass up so bad that you cause a fumble for Sam Darnold, people are going to be upset, especially when you just got paid. You just got paid on Thursday. Instantly, and it's not fair to you, people are going to say Lucas isn't worth the money. There were already reasons for people to be upset about it. Now they're going to hammer him. I don't agree with that. I think he deserves the money he got. I think he's worth the money he got. But at the same time, when you get paid and then you don't show up and it's very obvious that you didn't show up in a key play, you're going to get hammered for it. I'm interested to see how the PFF grades come for him because he better hope that they go very, very well. My 4th loser when it comes to this game, unfortunately, again, is Sam Darnold. I think he's going to get a lot of unfair criticism. In my eyes, I don't think he played a good game. I don't think he played a bad game. He's over 50% completion percentage. He has 150 yards. Here's the truth. Going into that 4th quarter, he was under 100 yards. Most of his yards came on that final drive where they finally let him sling it. I felt like if it wasn't a throw to JSN, the ball either was incomplete or it was pretty quickly tackled. Kenneth Walker struggled out of the backfield. Felt like Sam Darnold maybe at times was having to dump it down. It's not all on him. The wide receivers have to perform at a higher level. That's why he's only my 4th loser. But in my eyes, Sam Darnold could have looked better. He did what I asked him to do. Be a game manager. Take what the defense gives you. Keep us in games late. Keep it close. Don't turn the ball over. Honestly, I don't blame the fumble all on him. It's probably 50-50 him and Lucas. But again, it's the difference in the game. You allowed that 49ers team to stay close. When Kenneth Walker was in the game and you weren't able to run the football, Sam Darnold didn't take advantage of that defense. It's a good defense. It's a young defense that should make a lot of mistakes. You should have been able to capitalize on them not being necessarily the youngest quarterback. It's unfortunate. I don't think he's a real true blue loser, but he's going to end up on there. My last loser is Mike Macdonald, and frankly, if this was just up to me, he isn't a loser. But he's going to be crucified in the comments, and I get it. A lot of people, when it comes to criticizing teams and players and coaches, like to play the Monday morning quarterback. When Dan Campbell goes all big balls Dan Campbell, and he goes for it on 4th down, and the Detroit Lions get it, everyone loves him, talks about how smart he is. When he goes big balls Dan Campbell, and they don't get the first down on 4th down, and they lose games, he gets ripped for it because people play the result. You had an opportunity on a 4th and 1 with the game tied at 10 to go for it or to kick a field goal. I don't blame Mike Macdonald for kicking the field goal in that spot. Your defense had been able to come up big and get turnovers and stop that 49er team. And Jake Moody was anything but trustworthy when it came to his field goal kicking. He went with the sure thing, get the points. Myers kicks it through. You're now up. I actually agree with that decision. But you are going to see a lot of Monday morning quarterbacks that say he should have gone for it on fourth down. Charbonnet gets the first down. Seattle runs another minute or more off the clock. Now the 49ers don't have a ton of time to go down. Maybe you hold on to the ball, you get the final field goal. Maybe you end up scoring a touchdown and you win this game because you were the team that got up because you got into the end zone. I get why some people are going to criticize him for that. I still think he made the right move, but he's going to be a loser because he's going to have to hear from the fans about it. I might disagree with you, but hey, we're all entitled to our own opinions. I think people talk about something that everybody has just like those. What say you? Who was the biggest loser? Sound off in the comments. Let me know. I go through all of them. Maybe you're going to say I'm the biggest loser. Colin killed me in that boot race. Happens to the best of us. We're working on our chugging here in the Ortner household. Right now, we're just a medium chugger. Maybe we'll be a large chugger someday soon. Thank you so much for tuning into the show. We're going to be back with more videos throughout the week, so make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Until next time, see you later.